Welcome to Council Conversations, where we not only get to meet those who make up the Council of the Gospel Coalition Africa, but we get to zoom into them as people to see what God is doing through them with His gospel for His kingdom in their respective countries. The next episode, we had the privilege of sitting with Lameck from Tanzania and Anthony from Zimbabwe to hear why they think it's important to have a platform such as the Gospel Coalition Africa now, in this time and in this generation specifically.
The Gospel Coalition, I would say it's so important or necessary into our African continent because it's a coalition. First, we get the time to know the needs of the people and to pray about those things unto God. And it's all about the proper teachings. Yeah. We need the proper the true theology, the proper teaching of the Bible. The light. We need people to know the truth, and that the truth will help us to set the people free, free indeed in many ways. So it is all about preaching and making disciples, as Jesus Christ Himself commissioned us. That go ye therefore and preach, teach, make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And He promised to be with us until the end of the age. So the Gospel Coalition is all about teaching and knowing the truth, and doing all the preaching of the gospel unto the whole continent.
And it's beautiful, isn't it, that in Africa we have a young population and educated young population. And many of them have mobile phones. So you have people really using these Android phones where they are spending time reading, using Facebook, WhatsApp, and communicating one with another. And the Gospel Coalition is providing a platform in that everyday usage of mobile phones, where people can actually be reading something that is constructive and useful. And I've just talked about the challenge we have in Zimbabwe of even the leadership, which is very much young. The majority are young, and in the cities who lack sound theological resources or even training. And the Gospel Coalition is coming into that camp and providing a platform from which, though they cannot go for theological education or something, but they can have access, sound teaching, which they can even use as they lead these churches. So it trains them, it resources them, and it helps them to be effective in their ministries, which is really great. And I think I've talked about our economic situation, which is really in a dire situation. Not only Zimbabwe, I'm sure many other countries in Africa struggle.
Tanzania as well.
Exactly, struggle. Their economies are struggling, but people have phones and are still using them, and have laptops, which and I guess Wi-Fi is affordable. So I think this is a great coalition in the sense that it's a network. From Zimbabwe, we can learn from Tanzania without going there. We can learn from South Africans. We can learn from other great and upcoming writers and preachers from around Africa, influencing even Zimbabwe, which I think is a great benefit of Gospel Coalition.
Another, I would just want to point out one more point on that pertaining to Gospel Coalition. I also work with a junior seminary teaching biblical theology, and we have many topics teaching the young generations about ethics. Now, a lot of ethical issues are also written or also in the website of the Gospel Coalition Africa. For example, for example, marriage and divorce. Now, the Gospel Coalition would be necessary for research of students.
Very true.
So the student would go and see what is written in the internet, for example, and write down their papers, making quotations or making bibliography references from what's written, what the pastors have done their work.
Yeah, and I like the idea of audio, whereby you can actually listen to what is there. So whether many of African population use public transport, and as you are traveling, you can put your earphones and you can listen to the content there, and you can make sure that you are listening to something that is very good and substantial. And Africa is diverse. Even within country, some of them are very different. I think it's not a problem. It's actually a benefit. We can actually learn from each other in our diversity, and actually see how the gospel speaks into these different cultures. I guess with our history, we have boundaries. Zimbabwe, Zambia, within kilometers, you're in another country. But the Gospel Coalition goes across all that, and makes us a family united by the gospel, and sharing the same values and same passion to see souls being one and matured in Christ. And I think that's a great thing.
Yes, that's great.
From sound theology, the contextualization of the gospel, to the bringing of many and diverse different African cultures together. Well, these are just a few reasons among many to answer the question why the Gospel Coalition Africa is such a needed platform for us today. We want to thank Anthony and Lameck for such grateful insights and helping us navigate this question. We hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll stay tuned for more episodes of our council conversations. Grace and peace.